How's everybody doing today? Today is the 100th video. So if you haven't watched the previous ones, go back from the beginning and watch up till now. You don't have to, but I definitely have a lot of information in each one of those that I don't cover in other videos. So if you're like missing something or you just don't understand something, maybe one of those videos will touch up on what you're, the connection that needs to be made or whatever. Because it's kind of like the way I do it, it's kind of like an instructional program. You watch from the first video until the end, and it's like kind of like sort of an instruction manual. So it's like if you skip videos, it's kind of like skipping chapters really in a book, right? I just like to go back and get all that information. That's why I made a daily video, so I can get all this information out to you as quickly as possible. I try not to hoard a bunch of information and then just do one long video like once a month. Watching an hour or two long seminar every time you watch me is, you might not want to get through it or whatever, or stop watching, but just watching 10-minute videos, 10 minutes a day, to get your little snippet of metaphysical information. It's just easier that way for you and me both, really, right? There really was no specific topic of conversation that I was gonna talk about today, so I was just kind of wing it and go over some stuff that I maybe have already gone through, or talk about what I may talk about in later on videos. We'll just see how this goes. So, I told you, individuals that are on their their metaphysical journeys and spiritual journeys, usually you're probably feel like you're kind of alone. A lot of times those types of individuals don't have a lot of friends because you're not one of those types that you won't have a lot of friends, because the people that are kind of like still asleep and talk about stuff that doesn't even matter or whatever, that probably irritates you a little bit, and then you probably irritate them by talking the truth on some level. So because of the energy dynamic between you and others, you may feel like you're kind of a loner or homebody, or maybe introverted. You could be extroverted, but I'm just saying you're probably not a super popular person. And if you are, by all means, chime in, and I'll have you do a short video of how you were capable of being popular and spiritual at the same time, because that is a feat that most people cannot achieve. Just due to the fact that you don't talk about drama stuff that's meaningless. You're not into vanity, so it's not like if you're a woman, you're probably not going to be talking about makeup and hair all day long. You might do it a little bit because you're semi-interested in it, right? Or you're just like, every day you're not going to be just talking about vanity. You're probably going to talk about spiritual stuff or other things that you're interested in. And if you're a woman with girlfriends, like friends that are other women, you're probably not too much interested in the daily talks about the relationships and drama and all that stuff. And vice versa with men. Like, if a guy is talking about, I love working out, most of my friends do too, but if you're a guy that's just talking about working out all the time, nonstop, and not talking about anything else, to me that would get irritating, because I would want to talk about other stuff besides that. I mean, we could talk about our interest or whatever, like working out or cars and that type of thing, but generally I would also want to talk about other stuff, like concepts of how our system is kind of broken and how can we establish a better system for us to live in, and stuff like that. That should come up as well. But and I hate the term chosen one. So they call them the chosen ones, but it's just people that are on spiritual journeys tend to not have too many friends, and if they did when they were younger, they probably grew up or grew out of it a lot of the times. So don't worry if that's one of you, because that's to be expected. Mainly because there's a small percentage of us in our current society, and you're kind of like the odd man out, so to speak. But either way, I talked about the law of reverse the other day, where you just like stop doing anything and to see the reaction to it, which was kind of fun, because I never really talk much about the law of reverse, and I told you why or whatever, and it's not a subject much talked about in metaphysics, because coaching, well, I remember I told you the coaches, they're goal setters, so telling you not to just to stop doing everything is kind of like backwards. That's why they call it the reverse. It's not making progress like the coaches want you to. So usually when you hire a coach, they're charging you money, so if they're not seeing progress and stuff, maybe you feel that they're not doing the job, or they're not, they're worried that you're going to quit the program, because the spiritual journey takes a long time. The coaching and stuff is to give you the information, but you have to use that throughout your life. I would say most people, unless you were just like a super hard worker at the spiritual practices, it takes way longer than your coaching. Like if your coaching lasts like 3 or 4 months, it may take 4 or 5 years for that stuff to set in. By the time you start practicing it and then believing it and all that stuff, it's very, very possible that it could take 5 years. Now, you might have a dramatic life change in 1 year. That's also possible. But when someone's coaching you, I'm just saying they're probably not going to be doing something that's going to delay or hinder your progress. They want to see like the daily results type of deal. That's not really how this works, but I can understand the coaching thing, because you want to get as much information out as possible in a short amount of time for a certain amount of money. So if you have watched coaching videos and you're like, hey Brandon, what you're doing is different than what the coaches were doing, well, this is why. I'm not trying to just like bombard you with a bunch of information and expect you to change tomorrow. I'm telling you how like my journey went and how your journey might go. And like I said, it could take some time. And it's to be expected. And like I said, if you don't have results immediately, don't worry, just keep working on the practices, and you will eventually see results. It just may not be tomorrow. But you will definitely see signs very soon. The signs come before the changes a lot of times. So you get all these signs, and like, wow, I see 11:11 on the clock. Oh wow, I see a sign that says, you create your own universe. That's uncanny. Or you keep seeing your own the vehicle that you drive. You keep seeing copies of that car, like multiple. Like when I drive, I see the same silver Nissan truck a lot of the times, because that's what you're in, and so you're creating it and you're seeing it a lot of times. People always wonder, it's like, why do I keep seeing my same car in the same color all over the place? Well, because you created that. Since you're existing in the vehicle that you're driving, I'm in a silver Nissan Armada, so I see several of them on the road every time I drive. A lot of them, so many in fact, it says like, wow, is this vehicle that popular where it's just like the common vehicle? Well, not really, because this thing was, this truck was expensive, brand new, so not everybody had one. But I'm seeing a lot of it because that's what I create. I'm creating a lot of it because I'm existing with this vehicle all the time. That's why you always see a lot of your vehicle that you drive on the road, because you created that. You're living in the now with that car, so you're also visually seeing it on the road and with other people driving it. It's not a coincidence. It's uncanny. If you drove a different car, you would see a lot of that other car that you drive. So let's say you're rolling around in a white Toyota Corolla. You drive that, you see a lot of white Toyota Corollas. But if you owned a Nissan Sentra that was black, you would see tons of Nissan Sentras that are black and not a lot of white Toyota Corollas, if that makes any sense. And they can even be more rare cars than that. It could be really rare cars and you still see them. there's a reason for that. The universe is kind of like populating what you're creating, and so you see a lot of them. And a lot of times, like if you're trying to create a car, let's say you want the new Corvette. Let's say that's kind of like one of your dream cars that you want to get. You want the new Corvette in yellow. Pretend. When you start trying to create that, you'll start seeing yellow Corvettes on the road. That's the sign that the universe is. You're creating what's happening. You're creating that. Now, to get one in full possession, for you to receive one in full possession, that's a little bit more belief. But you'll see signs where you start seeing yellow Corvettes all over the place. Also, like the type of like if you're attracted to a certain type of person, that happens a lot too. Like if you're a guy and there's a certain girl look that you like, you might start seeing that a lot if you're trying to create that into your life. If you want a girl that looks like a certain type of girl, or dresses a certain way, or whatever the case may be. Excuse me. It's no coincidence. And you'll get a lot of weird things can happen. You could get calls, get invited to places that you thought about going but you never went, or someone gifted you tickets to somewhere that you wanted to go but you really weren't sure if you wanted to go, or you didn't have the money at the time, or whatever the case may be. Stuff like that starts happening. That's how you know the universe is starting to work for you, because you're seeing those signs. That's all I'm getting at, is you're seeing the signs of what's happening. And also, I would also like to thank you, before I forget on this video, thank you for watching my videos up until this point. If you've seen all 100 of them, much appreciation to you. It's good for me. It's good for you. Appreciate, congratulate yourself for staying through it and listening to that information, so you're absorbing it and start practicing it. And watch other people's videos on metaphysics and spirituality. I'm always an advocate for you to read the books of others, to read what it is that I learned, or watch YouTube. Maybe you want to watch another guy or girl on YouTube that teaches this. By all means, gain as much knowledge as you can, and decipher what you want to use in your belief system. Because that's how I learned. I didn't read just one book. Now, I had that one go-to, Florence Scovel. She's my favorite by far. Like she's top tier in my book. Pardon the pun. Of who I really was interested and learned a lot from. Her four volumes, I probably learned 80% of the information that I know from her 4 books. The other 20% was the reading other people's material and then making connections to all of it in combination. So yeah, read some metaphysical books. Thanks for watching up to this point, and continue watching for more videos to come. As always, I greatly appreciate you guys watching, like I was saying, and have a nice day.